The world of Stranger Things is ending, and nothing will ever be the same again. The final trailer doesn't just tease a battle, it warns us that Hawkins is already lost. The question is no longer who will win, but who will survive when everything finally collapses. The trailer opens with a quiet that feels wrong. Hawkins no longer looks like the small town we once knew. Streets are empty. Houses stand broken. The sky is dark, cracked with red lightning that feels alive. This silence is not peace. It is fear waiting to explode. The camera moves slowly, showing us a town that has already been wounded. Nature itself looks sick, as if the upside down has begun to breathe through the ground. This opening moment tells us one clear truth. The war has already started, and Hawkins is losing. There is no music at first, only a low hum that feels like a heartbeat. It reminds us of Season 1, when everything began with mystery and fear. But this time, the fear feels heavier. Back then, the kids were confused and curious. Now they are tired, older, and carrying scars they cannot hide. The town reflects them. Cracked roads, burned buildings, and empty streets show that the damage is no longer hidden. The upside down is no longer a secret world. It has crossed over completely. As the camera moves through the town, we see familiar places that no longer feel safe. The school, once full of laughter, now looks abandoned. The arcade stands dark and broken. These locations are not shown by accident. They remind us of everything that has been lost along the way. The trailer uses silence to force us to remember the past before throwing us into the final chaos. It's a calm before a storm that cannot be stopped. This opening makes one thing very clear. There will be no turning back. Hawkins is no longer fighting to survive. It is fighting to exist. As the music slowly begins, the tone shifts from quiet fear to growing danger. The camera focuses on the faces of the characters, one by one. Their eyes tell stories words cannot. Fear, guilt, anger, and determination all mixed together. They have been through too much to turn away now. Each of them knows that this is the final stand. The trailer shows quick flashes of chaos, buildings shaking, the sky tearing open, and strange shadows moving beneath the ground. These moments are fast, but powerful. They suggest that the upside down is no longer hiding. It is spreading, expanding, and reaching deeper into the real world. The barrier between worlds feels thin, fragile, and ready to break. We see familiar faces preparing for battle. Some are holding weapons, others holding onto each other. There is a strong sense that everyone has a role to play. No one is safe. No one is untouchable. The fear on their faces tells us that they know what is coming, and they know the cost will be high. What makes this section so powerful is how personal it feels. This is not just a fight against a monster. It is a fight against fear, guilt, and everything they have lost since the beginning. The trailer makes it clear that the past is catching up to them, and there is no escape this time. When Vecna finally appears, the tone of the trailer shifts completely. His presence feels heavier than before. He doesn't rush. He doesn't scream. He simply exists, calm, confident, and terrifying. The way he moves suggests control, as if everything unfolding is part of his plan. The lighting around him is darker than ever, almost swallowing the screen. His connection to the upside down feels stronger, as if he and the world itself have become one. This is not a villain acting out of rage. This is a villain who believes he has already won. Small visual details reveal how powerful he has become. The ground reacts to him. The air seems to bend around his presence. Even the environment feels afraid. The trailer shows him watching, waiting, letting the chaos unfold. This tells us that the final battle will not be about strength alone, but about breaking his control. There is also something emotional hidden in his presence. A sense of history. A reminder that everything started with him, and everything may end with him. The show makes it clear that defeating Vecna will not be simple. It will demand sacrifice, pain, and possibly the loss of someone we love. As the trailer reaches its final moments, the pace quickens. The music grows louder. The cuts become faster. We see the characters running, shouting, and fighting side by side. This is no longer about survival. This is about ending the nightmare once and for all. There are glimpses of emotional moments between the characters. Silent looks that say goodbye without words. Hands reaching for each other in the middle of chaos. These moments tell us that not everyone will make it out alive. The show is preparing us for heartbreak. The final shots focus on the sky above Hawkins, torn open and burning. The world feels like it is standing on the edge of collapse. Then everything goes quiet again. The screen fades. No answers, no peace. Only the feeling that the end is closer than ever. This trailer doesn't just promise action. It promises closure. It promises pain, sacrifice, and truth. The final season of Stranger Things is not about fighting monsters anymore. It's about facing the cost of every choice made since the beginning. And when the end finally comes, nothing will ever be the same again. The tension rises the moment the screen fills with movement instead of silence. The world no longer feels frozen in fear. It feels like it is preparing for collapse. Every frame carries weight, as if the land itself knows what is coming. Buildings shake without warning. The sky flickers with deep red cracks, spreading wider than ever before. This is not chaos without purpose. This is a transformation in progress. The upside down is no longer creeping into Hawkins. It is claiming it. The characters are no longer running blindly. Their faces show focus, pain, and acceptance. They understand now that survival will not come from hiding. Each one carries the weight of past mistakes and lost friends, and that weight shapes every decision they make. The fear in their eyes is different this time. It is not confusion. It is the fear of knowing exactly what must be done and realizing the cost will be unbearable. The trailer quietly shows moments of preparation, hands shaking while gripping weapons, silent glances exchanged between friends who know this may be the last time they stand together. These small details speak louder than action scenes. They show how far these characters have come since the beginning. They are no longer children reacting to danger. They are fighters choosing to face it. As the tension builds, the environment itself becomes an enemy. The ground pulses as if alive. Shadows stretch in unnatural ways. The air feels heavy, almost suffocating. It becomes clear that the upside down is not just a place anymore. It is a living force pushing against reality. The barrier between worlds feels paper thin, and every moment threatens to tear it open completely. There is a strong sense that time is running out. The trailer cuts between fast and slow moments, creating a rhythm that feels like a heartbeat racing toward its final beat. Characters move with urgency, but also with hesitation, as if they know some paths cannot be walked back from. Every choice now carries permanent consequences. The emotional weight of this section comes from its silence as much as its chaos. The absence of long dialogue allows expressions and actions to speak louder. A single look holds more meaning than words ever could. The fear of loss hangs in the air, reminding us that not everyone will make it to the end. The story no longer promises safety or happy endings. What makes this part so powerful is the sense of inevitability. The characters are not running toward victory. They are walking toward destiny. Each step forward feels heavy, but necessary. The world they knew is already gone, and the only thing left is to face what comes next with courage, even if it costs everything. By the time this section ends, the message is clear. The final battle is not about saving the town alone. It is about accepting sacrifice, facing fear without escape, and choosing to fight even when the outcome is uncertain. The storm has arrived, and there is no turning back. The presence of Vecna in the final moments of the trailer changes everything. He no longer feels like a distant threat hiding in shadows. He feels close, watching, waiting. His silence is more frightening than any scream. Every frame that shows him carries a sense of control, as if the chaos unfolding is exactly how he planned it. The darkness around him no longer moves wildly. It bends, almost respectfully, as if responding to his will. This version of Vecna is not chasing power anymore. He already has it. What makes this moment so unsettling is how calm he appears. There is no rage in his expression, no desperation. Instead, there is certainty. He moves like someone who knows the ending of the story. The trailer shows him standing still while the world breaks around him, suggesting that destruction itself is part of his design. The Upside Down is no longer a separate place. It feels connected to him on a deeper level, like an extension of his mind. The boundaries between him and the world are gone. The visuals surrounding Vecna are darker and more refined than ever before. The red lightning is sharper, the shadows thicker, and the atmosphere heavier. It feels as if reality is bending under the weight of his presence. Even the air seems to react to him, trembling as he moves. This visual language tells us that the fight ahead will not be simple. Physical strength will not be enough. Whatever ends this war will require something deeper, something emotional, something painful. There is also a strong sense that Vecna is no longer alone in his purpose. The trailer hints that his influence has spread far beyond what anyone expected. The Upside Down no longer feels like a prison or a separate dimension. It feels like a living extension of his will. This suggests that destroying him may not be as simple as defeating a single enemy. If he falls, something else may fall with him. The world itself may not survive the process. The most chilling part of this section is how calm everything feels before the storm. There is no chaos yet, no screaming crowds or collapsing cities. Just stillness. A heavy, unnatural stillness that feels like the breath before a scream. The show uses this quiet to build dread, forcing the viewer to sit with the knowledge that something terrible is coming. It is the kind of calm that exists right before everything breaks. This section of the trailer makes one thing painfully clear. The final battle will not be about good versus evil in a simple way. It will be about control, sacrifice, and the cost of power. Vecna is not just an enemy to defeat. He is a force that must be understood, confronted, and possibly destroyed at a terrible price. As the screen fades, the feeling left behind is not excitement, but dread, the kind that stays with you long after the image disappears. The final moments shown in the trailer shift the story into its most emotional and dangerous phase. Everything feels heavier, slower, and more personal. The chaos that once felt overwhelming now feels focused, as if the world itself is narrowing toward one unavoidable moment. The characters are no longer running from what is coming. They are walking toward it, fully aware that not all of them will make it back. The group is shown scattered, no longer together in one place. Each character stands in a different location, facing their own version of fear. Some are surrounded by darkness, others by fire or falling debris. This separation feels intentional, as if the story is preparing each of them for a personal test. The message is clear. Survival will not come from strength alone, but from the choices they make when everything is taken away. There is a strong emotional focus on connection in these scenes. Even when characters are physically apart, the editing links them through shared memories and mirrored actions. A look of fear on one face cuts to determination on another. A quiet tear mirrors a moment of courage elsewhere. These parallels suggest that what binds them is stronger than distance or fear. Their bond has become the only weapon powerful enough to stand against what's coming. As the tension rises, the trailer begins to hint at sacrifice. Not in an obvious way, but through small, painful moments. A character hesitates before stepping forward. Another looks back, as if saying goodbye without words. These moments are brief, but they carry enormous weight. They suggest that victory may come at a terrible cost, and not everyone will walk away from the final battle. The environment itself reacts to these choices. The ground cracks wider. The sky darkens further. The line between the real world and the Upside Down becomes almost invisible. It feels as though the world is responding emotionally to what is about to happen. This gives the impression that the final conflict will not just decide the fate of the characters, but the fate of reality itself. As the sequence reaches its final moments, everything slows down. Sound fades. Movement becomes deliberate. The story pauses just long enough for the weight of what's coming to sink in. There is no dramatic explosion or clear victory shown. Instead, the trailer leaves us suspended in uncertainty, forcing us to sit with the fear of the unknown. This section makes it clear that the ending will not be easy, clean, or comforting. It will be painful, emotional, and unforgettable. The final chapter of this story is not about defeating a monster. It is about what people are willing to lose to protect what they love. And when the screen finally fades to black, one truth remains: nothing will ever be the same again. The final moments hinted at in the trailer feel less like an ending and more like a quiet reckoning. Everything that has been building across seasons now seems to stand still, as if the world itself is holding its breath. The chaos that once defined every frame gives way to something heavier, a sense of finality that cannot be escaped. This is no longer about winning or losing. It is about what remains after everything else is gone. The imagery suggests a world forever changed. The familiar streets of Hawkins appear altered beyond recognition, as if time itself has passed through them. Some places look abandoned, others frozen in silence. There is no celebration, no sense of victory. Instead, there is reflection, the kind that comes only after deep loss. It becomes clear that whatever happens in the final moments will leave scars that can never fully heal. The characters are shown in quiet, personal moments. Some stand alone, staring into empty spaces where someone once stood. Others sit in silence, surrounded by memories that refuse to fade. These scenes are not about action. They are about consequence. The trailer seems to ask a powerful question without ever speaking it. Was the price worth paying? Each expression carries a story of sacrifice, reminding us that survival does not always mean peace. There is also a strong feeling of closure woven through these final images. Loose ends begin to feel tied, not through explanation, but through emotion. The camera lingers on small details, a hand letting go, a doorway closing, a familiar object left behind. These quiet moments say more than any speech ever could. They suggest that the story is ending not with triumph, but with understanding that the world itself feels different now. The threat that once consumed everything appears to have faded, but the cost of that victory lingers in the air. The silence is not comforting. It is heavy with memory. It feels like the calm after a storm that changed everything forever. Even as the danger seems gone, the scars remain etched into the land and the people who survived. As the final images fade, the story leaves us with a powerful realization. This was never just about monsters or another dimension. It was about growing up, facing fear, and learning that some battles shape who you become, whether you win or lose. The ending does not promise happiness, but it offers something deeper: closure, acceptance, and the understanding that some stories end not with triumph, but with truth.